Morning, everyone. Um, we're here this morning. We had a critical incident that occurred this morning. This started out with a fugitive operation, to which I'll have U.S. Marshal Pete Elliott talk a little bit about. This is a multi-agency operation that started as a fugitive sweep. It turned into an officer-involved shooting and then a barricaded suspect. So right now I'm going to have U.S. Marshal Pete Elliott talk about some of the details of the fugitive sweep.
Well, first of all, we had a deputy U.S. Marshal that was shot today. He is in serious but stable condition. He is going to live, and that's the most important thing. So, I pray for my men and women every single day of my life for their safety. The kind of men and women standing up here behind you right now, they have the most dangerous job in the United States of America, serving warrants on violent criminals like this violent criminal who spent 20 years in jail, that had 3 assaults on police officers during his career and his life, who barricaded himself. We're running into barricaded situations every single day, and it is pissing me off. Another violent criminal on the streets shooting at our people. So this morning at 8 o'clock, we tracked this individual that was wanted on a felonious assault warrant out of East Cleveland with our partners in East Cleveland and Cleveland Police to a residence here right behind you. He refused to come out of the house. He shot at my deputies and our officers. One of my officers was shot. We did return fire. The suspect did barricade himself, is in custody because of the great work of the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office, their department negotiating with him, and also the SWAT team in Cuyahoga County to be able to bring this individual out. I appreciate all our partnerships here that you see, from the FBI, who's going to handle the crime scene, to ATF, who's going to handle the ballistics. But enough is enough. A violent criminal, once again. How many times have I stood up, said the same thing? 20 years in prison, violent history, shooting at our officers, and thank God, thank you, Jesus, that this officer is going to live.
So Pete mentioned the investigation. Right now, preliminary information indicates the suspect fired a shot. Officers did return fire. The suspect is not injured. The one officer, like Pete said, is in stable but serious condition, non-life-threatening injuries. We'll conduct the investigation. It will be a joint investigation with the Cleveland Division of Police as well as the FBI. And again, ATF will play a role in that with processing some of the ballistic evidence from the scene. Again, it's early right now. We've got a lot of work left. No one else was injured. There were no other occupants in the residence. It was contained rather quickly, thanks to the quick response of the task force and the training they have. And again, thanks to the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office for responding with their SWAT unit to assume the perimeter. Again, this is early. We've still got quite a bit to go with determining some things. But again, this will be a joint investigation. And then Greg Nuts from the FBI can talk about their role with the investigation.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Chief. First, Greg Nelson with the FBI here in Cleveland. And I have to say to the U.S. Marshal Service, deepest sympathies, and we will do anything we can to make sure that this person is brought to justice. So our role here is, we were notified this morning of a law enforcement involved shooting, is to work side by side with Cleveland Division of Police. We'll work the assault on a federal officer piece. And to what Deputy Chief Pillow said, our evidence response team will do the crime scene. We have about 15 to 20 evidence response team members, and our violent crimes unit is going to handle some of the investigative piece side by side with Cleveland Division of Police. We have another 15 to 20 investigators that will help with that, so we can do neighborhood canvases, collect any camera or any type of evidence that we may have. And we encourage the public, anybody who is a witness to this, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you have any type of evidence that you want to share, we'd be interested in collecting that. So again, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you.
Pete, can you tell us anything at all about the officer that was shot, or the Marshal's task force member that was shot?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that. He's a warrior. He is a tough individual. He is going to survive. He's the type of person that we hire, just like all the type of people behind me that we've hired over the years. He's a warrior, and he's going to pull through.
And then any further detail about the suspect and the crimes that they were wanted for? We heard that potentially shootings in East Cleveland.
Yeah, East Cleveland warrant was in September. I believe it was September 14th, and that was for felonious assault. He has numerous felonious assault convictions. He has 3 assault on police officer convictions. He's done almost 20 years in prison. Again, an individual that should not be on the streets, but it is a type of individual that the Marshal Service Task Force goes after every single day. And it's been 22 years now since we started our task force office here in Cleveland and throughout Northern Ohio, and this is the first Deputy U.S. Marshal that has been shot over those years. So they do things very safely. We do things with our partners all the time, but it's getting more violent out there every single day, the amount of shootings against our police officers.
Pete, was this just a warrant being served, or Ali said that it was part of a sweep?
No operation. It was a warrant like they do every single day, whether it's in Lorain or Cleveland or in Toledo. It's something we do every single day. So it was I don't want to use the word typical, but another violent warrant trying to take a violent suspect off the streets.
And this was the reason this task force was started in 2003, because of Wayne Leon being shot by a fugitive.
That's right. And every day in his memory, we go out there and pursue the most dangerous individuals out there. This was started in 2003 in memory of Wayne.
Are you willing to share the suspect's name?
Not at this point. We'll put that out later.
Okay.
I just walked up and missed a lot. I apologize for that. We were on the next street over. Can you go back and elaborate what you started with?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
We'll get him afterwards.
Yeah, we'll get them after this. We're done with it.
Resounding statement, just to end this violence against police officers. We spoke to a council member here who was very upset about this.
I have received so many calls within the last hour and a half from so many people in the community. That shows you how much people care about law enforcement. Look, right now we're trying to pursue something very important. This individual, again, barricaded himself in that residence. We have a bill because of a Deputy U.S. Marshal and a Cleveland police officer that brought to my attention, then we brought it to the state on barricaded subjects to make that a felony and a more serious enhancement to the crime underneath. So I want to see that passed in the state of Ohio and further.
But this would be federal charges, right? Because he shot him.
Potentially, yes. Yes.
We'll confer with the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office and decide which charge would be appropriate. But ultimately, I think we would be looking at charges for assaulting a federal officer.
We say operationally, was there enough time to evacuate people around? How much public risk was going on?
Well, whenever there's a barricaded subject, we bring out, whether it's EMS, the SWAT teams from Cuyahoga County, the city, streets get closed, as you see here, neighbors get evacuated and so on. It's usually a whole day affair. This only lasted, 4 hours, which is not typical. It's typically an all-day affair. But barricaded subjects are an issue for everything and tie up a lot of resources, and also, residents can't go back to their houses.
In this instance, because of logistics and where the house was and other vacant properties, we had to only evacuate a few people, and the others we asked to shelter in place in lower portions of their home. So we didn't have a concern of course there's always a concern, but we took precautions to make sure that residents were safe.
Was this an apartment building?
Yes. All right, guys, that's going to conclude this. Thank you. We'll have
Thank you, guys.
All right.
our PIOs will get other statements later.